They say that uncertainty in a financial market, chaos in a financial market, has a price to pay. Today, the global oil and gas industry is facing complete chaos and uncertainty as a result of the war between the United States and Iran. Now, let me be straight and let me be clear. Most of you have no clue, zero, what really takes in the cost of a barrel of oil to be produced and delivered to the end user. Let's talk about what's being added today that wasn't present 4 months ago before the war started. Number one, and first and foremost, you have logistics. If I was getting oil from a certain provider, a certain part of the world, like the Middle East or the Strait of Hormuz, I knew I could deliver an Iranian barrel of oil from the Strait on an Aframax to my shore, my marina, my refinery for X number of dollars per barrel. But when you have a war taking place and the logistics have changed and the risk has gone up, my insurance company is going to charge me more if I try to get oil out of a certain part of the world where there's conflict or there's some kind of a war taking place. So you start layering on things like logistics, the very diesel that's being run inside those waterborne vessels that are moving it, the cost of labor, the cost of insurance, the cost of logistics, the cost of cargo ships and Aframax, which are now going up substantially because there's less of them available. And then you add in the time and the distance. So chaos creates opportunity, but it comes with a cost. And as many of the financial pundits out there like to tell you, don't worry, as soon as the war is over, we're going to drop back to $40 to $55 a barrel. The answer is no, we're not even close. There's no way oil is going to drop back to $40 or $55 a barrel. It is not going to drop back lower than what it was before the war started. Before the war started, we were already back to $66 a barrel for West Texas Intermediate. Before the war started, we were already talking about being almost pari passu between daily demand, 101 million barrels a day, and daily supply. Oh yes, but let's not factor in that maybe Saudi and OPEC had decided to hold back on their production rate. Well, I got news for every one of us that are listening and that are paying attention. The Middle East, they pretend to get along. OPEC is becoming dismantled as UAE dropped out. Now, each one of them are saying, now it's a fight to the finish for market share. It's in terms of deliverability. It's in terms of who the end customer is going to be, the frequency, the volume, and the predictability. So whoever has oil supply in the globe today that's not part of the Middle East, not in the combat zone, automatically has a major advantage. What's called certainty. So wherever you have oil being produced in uncertain markets, geographically, you're going to have a premium placed on that barrel. Well, what's that premium? I would say the premium to a barrel of oil anywhere in the Middle East right now is probably going to be in the neighborhood of $25 to $40 a barrel, in my opinion. Now, if you start adding a $25 to $40 a barrel premium, and you look at the cost of drilling, exploration, production, transportation, and midstream, you're probably running north of $90, $95 a barrel on the low side. Okay, we have new discoveries. We have discoveries all over the world being made, and these discoveries are producing, 500,000, a million, 1.5 million barrels a day. The single two straits that have been now attacked between the Iranian Republican Guard and now the Houthis attacking the Saudi Arabian vessel the day before yesterday, what you're now dealing with is a situation where it could be a combined total of somewhere between 20 and 28 million barrels a day that are going to be affected, delayed, or completely shut off if the continuation of war activities take place. You knock out 12, 15 million barrels of oil, you're going to get $30 a barrel premium, which is what we're at today. We're running about $96 a barrel today. You add in a second strait being shut down and add another 5, 10, 15 million barrels to uncertainty and to probability that's going to be disrupted, because I'll tell you in a second, it's real simple. The people who are starting the wars, those involved in peaceful activities like creating nuclear bombs, nuclear weapon, nuclear enrichment, like Iran, they have staying power like no tomorrow because they know they can produce oil at $9 or $10 a barrel. But what they're not going to do is they're not going to stand by and allow their neighbors in other Middle Eastern countries and oil producers, they're not going to allow them, while they're in this war with the U.S., to steal their market share. What they're going to do is guarantee themselves a position at the table. In fact, if you look at what President Trump did about 4 weeks ago, he said, look, if you guys will just sign this MOU and behave, I'll start letting you export oil out of Iran so you can get money back to feed your country. Okay, if that's the case, then what's going to happen if we end up finding ourselves in a position with both straits are now being affected? We have dismantling of supply as a result of fear and logistical and military attacks. And at the end of the day, we come back and say, what is the premium that's going to have to be paid in order for us to observe and absorb all the dysfunction in the market? Well, it's no longer $25 a barrel. It could be north of $50+ a barrel if both those straits are affected. You come back to my point, which is if oil can be affected that greatly, and I am a producer that's being affected by that disruption, I sure don't want to sit here idly on the sidelines and let somebody else, Brazil or anybody else, pick up and steal my customers because they're outside of the war zone or conflict zone. So what Iran is doing is very simple. One, they're making it very difficult for the United States to end the war. They're making it very difficult for the United States to try to collar the Iranian regime's military activity. And what they're essentially saying is, we're going to make sure our neighbors have as much pain as we do, or they're included in the pain from the standpoint of disrupting their vessels, shooting at their oil tankers, disrupting military activity, attacking their airports, because that uncertainty guarantees that when this is all done, maybe those in the Middle Eastern producing countries do not end up picking up the very volumes and the customers and the market share that Iran had before the war started. So it's twofold. Derail President Trump's intentions on settling the Middle East conflict with Iran, delay it, and knowing that it's in your favor, and then making sure no one that's close to you that you can actually affect competitively will steal your market share. That's right. Crude oil comes with a price, and uncertainty makes that price that much higher. I'm guessing today at $96 a barrel with the activity in the last 72 hours, very easily, as I said in my previous announcements, I truly believe we could see $125 to $150 a barrel. I know most people are like, well, if you put a number out there, you're going to have to stick with it, and we're going to come back and look at your video and measure it against you. Hey, look, that's like predicting the weather. I can get up and say the wind's blowing 30 miles an hour out of the northwest, and by lunch, it's 15 miles an hour coming out of the southeast because a front comes in. See, the difference is I look at the data from empirical information, supply, demand, and logistics. And my prediction is not saying I am a guru. What I'm saying is logic foretells that at this point in time, the continuation of conflict in the Strait of Hormuz and the additional conflict that happened yesterday against the Saudi Arabian tanker highly suggest the amount of conflict spread over a geographical area could and possibly disrupt as much as 20 to 28 million barrels a day in production around the globe. So whether it's 10% or 28%, I can assure you it's going to cost us $25 to $50 a barrel more over the next 60 to 90 days, and something dramatic takes place. If something doesn't happen dramatically, you're going to see oil prices much, much higher, and possibly even higher than we've ever seen before. Thanks for listening.